Hello, 6th graders. Welcome to Big Ideas Math, Contract Math, Section 3.5, Writing Proportions Activities. Pause while you write Section 3.5 activity in your math notebook. Pause again while you write today's activity objective in your math notebook. Today's objective is to solve proportions using ratio tables and cross products. Today we'll be starting on page 71 in your record and practice journal. At the top, it tells us we'll be solving a proportion in science. Scientists use ratio tables to determine the amount of a compound, like salt, that is dissolved in a solution. We're going to use cross products to determine the unknown quantity in a ratio. Our sample is salt water. So we have 1 liter of salt water for 250 grams of salt, or 3 liters of salt water for X grams of salt. So our first job is to write our proportion. And when we do that, it's best if you have your X, your unknown quantity, on the top of a fraction. It just makes things a little bit easier. And then we're going to cancel out our units. So liters over liters cancels out, and grams over grams cancels out. And it says set the cross products equal. So I'll show you how that looks. It's 3 times 250, so that's your cross products here, equals 1 times x, so that's your cross products going the other directions. 1 times x. And then when we simplify, that equals 750 equals x. So when you copy this down, be sure you copy down the steps as well as the problem itself. And when we do this, we find out that there are 750 grams of salt in the 3-liter solution. Now we're going to move on to a white glue solution. This is using the recipe for slime, which is found on page 72 in your record and practice journal. It's also found on page 122 in your textbook. So we have water and white glue. We have a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of white glue, and a cup of water and X cups of white glue. So we write our proportion. So when you do that, your fractions look a little funny because you have fractions over fractions, but that's okay. It'll all work out in the end. And you cancel out your units. So you have 1/2 over 1/2 equals x over 1. And then you set your cross products equal. And then you begin the simplifying process. So you have 1/2 times 1, which equals 1/2, equals 1/2 times x, which equals 1/2 x. So you need to divide both sides by 1/2, and when you do that, you get 1 cup is equal to x. So let's work on the borax solution. So the borax solution is a little bit different in setting up your proportion, but we want to try to keep our x cups on the top, so we can do that. We just need to put it on the right top and put x cups, and if that's where that is, then we need to put our 1 cup underneath it. And so we went from right to left on the bottom layer of our chart. So that means we need to go from right to left on the top layer of our chart. So that means that we need to have 2 teaspoons on the top and 1 teaspoon on the bottom. And then we can cancel out our units and set up our cross products. So we have 2 times 1 equal to 1 times x. And then we simplify. 2 times 1 equals 2, and 1 times x equals x. So that means x equals 2 cups. Your assignment for this lesson is to complete Part D of Activity 1 on page 72 of your Record and Practice Journal. Be sure to show your work and be prepared to share during our next class. Remember, to earn credit for viewing this flipped lesson, you need to complete your exit slip, come to our next class prepared with the journal pages or other work from the flipped lesson completed, be prepared with any work that was assigned in the flipped lesson completed, and be prepared with any questions you have for your teacher, and of course, have a good attitude.